Oh, hello. How are you? Welcome. This is a pretty big deal. This is only the second time I've tried to record this video, so you're welcome. The other video I was standing. I feel like I get more like animated and worked up when I'm standing, and I get like more angry and rowdy. But being an amateur YouTube channel, being an amateur Canadian, friendly neighborhood Canadian, pop culture, superhero, NHL, ex-professional wrestling, adult entertainment lover of many things, sometimes you got to bring it down. So I decided I would calm down, refocus, because this is the very first episode. There's no graphics, right? Not yet. Low-end YouTube amateur channel. My name is Reed. I'm your friendly neighborhood Canadian, and this is the debut, the number one issue, the number one episode of a series I'm calling Best to Worst. That's right. And it's simply, I'm going to bring up a subject, a topic, maybe a franchise of movies, something, and I'm just going to rank them best to worst. And then, hopefully you fine YouTube people, will like, subscribe, make comments, and we'll have a nice little discussion about my list, your list, and, you know, what the internet is really good for, bitching and complaining. I am your host. I am Reed. This is episode 1, and I figured, what better topic, what better thing to bring up than the DC Extended Cinematic Universe. What's it even called now? Do they even know? The DCEU. That's the hashtag I like to use. DC Extended Universe. Best to worst. Now, obviously, this is not going to include Green Lantern. Oh, if Green Lantern could have been a better movie. I still say, to this day, that Bradley Cooper should have been cast as Hal Jordan way back then. And if the movie just would have done a better job on a couple things, and if they would have just made a sequel right away, who knows what could have been. So Green Lantern, obviously, even though that was supposed to be the origin, it wasn't. And then obviously Joker. The Joker that just made history, being one of the most profitable movies of all time, crossing the $1 billion mark, winning 2 Academy Awards, one for Best Actor, Lead Actor, Joaquin Phoenix playing Arthur Fleck, and winning an Oscar for Best Dramatic Score. An amazing score, one of the best cinematic experiences I've ever had in the last 10 years of just being swept away with music in a movie. Those 2 movies, obviously, aren't on the list. Now, it's debatable if the new Matt Reeves, the Batman, will be part of the DC Cinematic Universe. Who really knows yet? Because who knows? But Wonder Woman 84 is coming out this summer. That should be huge. I think that movie is going to gross $1 billion. And Black Adam is finally going to be in the works. The Suicide Squad is filming right now. And they're going to make a sequel to a movie we're going to talk about. So, things are looking okay. Best to worst, episode 1, the DC Cinematic Universe. What could have been if Zack Snyder had a plan, if Zack Snyder had a better plan, if Zack Snyder didn't get so many things fundamentally wrong about 2 of the most important superheroes of all time. But maybe that's for another discussion. All failings of the DC Cinematic Universe can be traced back to Zack Snyder. And I used to be someone who's pro Zack Snyder. I've done videos. You can search them on my YouTube channel. I've done multiple videos about release Snyder Cut, Zack Snyder, my worries, my hopes and fears of the DC Universe and everything. So I'm going to sprinkle those amongst this countdown. So, best to worst. My humble opinion. The best movie in the DC Cinematic Universe that we have seen is the first movie to garner over $1 billion. Aquaman! Woo! Aquaman. Directed by James Wan. Came out in late 2018. Aquaman stunned the world. $335 million North American box office. Pretty effing good. And $1.1 billion worldwide. Universal acclaim. Many people enjoyed this movie. People were pro Jason Momoa as Aquaman. To be fair, some of the things Zack Snyder did get right was his inspired casting choices. And Jason Momoa was a Zack Snyder decision. And Aquaman is my best favorite movie of the DC Cinematic Universe. Next on the list, a movie, in my humble opinion, in this day and age, that really should have been the first superhero movie nominated for Best Picture, and probably should have got a Best Director nomination. Wonder Woman! Doo-doo-doo-doo! Wonder Woman, 2017. The first, well, I mean, everyone forgets about Barbed Wire, right, with Pamela Anderson. But, well, and Catwoman, obviously, with Halle Berry. And Elektra with Jennifer Garner. Anyway, Wonder Woman is the first female superhero-led movie of all time. Just use that as the Mandela effect. $412 million North American box office. $821 million worldwide. It was the biggest hit of the DC Cinematic Universe up until Aquaman. Super entertaining, super inspirational, fun, exciting. God forbid Zack Snyder superhero movies are supposed to be fun. Oh no! I know, not so dark, not so depressing, not so stupid, and over the top. Wonder Woman, next on the best to worst. Now, full disclosure, besides me being a DC fan, which I am, pro DC, superhero comic book ex-guy, grew up with comic books in the 80s, as a child, as a man-child now, man of the 80s. Not trying to be like most of these YouTube people, all over YouTube. You notice all the angry people on YouTube worried about female diversity and women and female-led superhero movies and this huge propaganda. They're all white. And they're all middle-aged men. My age, older than me. Isn't that weird? Isn't that weird? Just think about that. All these angry channels on YouTube that are scared that, oh no, they're going to hire a female director, and oh no, Birds of Prey was anti-men, and blah, blah, blah. They're all angry white men. Oh my God. How does that fit your narrative? Anyway, next on my list, best to worst. A movie more people you need to see. Shazam! Woo! Part of the DC roller coaster of awesome that they're currently on. Shazam. Came out last year. Only $140 million in North American box office. $365 million worldwide. Yes, I have a clipboard. Props. Focus. Trying something different. I love Shazam. Totally entertaining, totally fun, very heartwarming, very unexpected. I did not expect to be touched by Shazam as many people were, and that's usually anyone who's seen Shazam is like, wow. You tell people you need to go see Shazam. So if you haven't bought it, if you haven't bought it on Blu-ray, 4K, DVD, if that's still a thing, it probably is. You go to Walmart, see it on a streaming service, whatever. Watch Shazam. Super awesome, fun movie. Next on my list. Okay. Loved this movie when it came out, but I was blinded by my DC fanboy superhero love. Okay? Sometimes that clouds your judgment. You're emotional. Because I like Easter eggs, and I like stuff. Throw it at me. I love it. Give it to me. But then you see the flaws. And this movie has a lot of flaws, including the title. Batman v, not versus, Batman v Superman, Dawn of Justice. The Ultimate Edition. Now, the flaws of this movie are known worldwide, okay? And sorry, release the Snyder Cut fans, you're wrong. There are lots of flaws with the script, the story, the pacing, the editing of this movie. So much stuff doesn't make sense. So much is just not explained, or explained poorly, badly, and very stupidly. If you are a Release the Snyder Cut person on Twitter, maybe you're on Facebook, all over social media, you must love Disney Star Wars. You must love The Rise of Skywalker. That must be your favorite movie. That must be your favorite Star Wars movie, which is fine. But don't attack Star Wars movies on their failure of logic, plot points, character development, and be a Release the Snyder Cut person. Because do we really need a 4 or 5 hour version of Justice League so he can introduce more superheroes that most people don't know? As much as I would love to see the Martian Manhunter reveal in Justice League, or the little Easter egg of possibly the Atom, or Green Lantern, 2 Green Lanterns, 3 Green Lanterns, however many he was sprinkling in that movie. Most movie-going fans didn't even know who Cyborg was, and that's a whole other issue. But the reason I bring that up is because Batman v Superman Dawn of Justice had lots of problems that Snyder fans fail to recognize. And I can watch this movie and be entertained by it and be like amazed by Ben Affleck being the best Batman we've ever seen, by being surprised by Gal Gadot being awesome as Wonder Woman. But I can also watch that movie and be universally heartbroken and upset by the portrayal of Lex Luthor, who was awful, the motivations of Lex Luthor, which were non-existent, the whole rushing of the storyline of the Death of Superman storyline with Doomsday, epic failure by Zack Snyder and Warner Brothers, Warner Brothers, DC Comics, everyone involved, no long-term game. How do you rush the Death of Superman after one Superman movie? Brutal. Anyway, still an enjoyable movie, but you got to turn the brain off. Like if you're still one of those people, which there are sadly many of you out there, that are watching the Fast and Furious movies, you're plugging in your money, you're watching your movies, you're like, woohoo! They can defy gravity and logic and physics. And Vin Diesel, he's a good guy, he's a bad guy. He can break cement with his foot. Who cares? If you're one of those people, awesome. I can shut my brain off and enjoy Batman v Superman and not let the burning rage, the burning fires of apocalypse eat in my soul and be mad. I can do that. But it's becoming more and more difficult the more I rewatch that movie. Next on the list, because, you know, the internet is never wrong. Suicide Squad. Suicide Squad. Now, I enjoyed this movie. I liked the vibrant colors. I liked the characters. I liked the majority of the casting. Should it have had a better villain? Yes. Should the Joker have been in it more? Or the bad guy? Yes. But I really enjoyed the soundtrack, the movie, most of the story. I had a few minor issues with some casting choices, like I didn't like Rick Flag, that casting. Will Smith was amazing as Deadshot. That's what introduced Margot Robbie as Harley Quinn. I liked Jared Leto's Joker, but we didn't see him enough. If the movie could have been approached a different way, if maybe Warner Brothers, Time Warner, didn't interfere in that movie like they did, and with future Justice League and stuff, who knows the movie we could have gotten? Who knows what David Ayer could have done? But I think that's number 5 on my list. I liked it. I feel like Mark. I like everything. My friend Mark, who likes every movie ever made, so he can have a critical opinion. I loved all these movies on my list. There's only 8 movies on the DC Cinematic Universe movie list, and none of them have a lower rating than 8 stars. So this isn't a video of me bashing them. It's just best to worst. But some of these movies could have been better. Like, I think they're, in my rating system, there's about 5 MCU movies that I've rated 10 stars. I mean, there's obviously DC movies not connected with the DC Cinematic Universe that I loved. Obviously, The Dark Knight. Obviously, the Nolan trilogy. Obviously, Batman Returns. Obviously, Watchmen. V for Vendetta. There are DC properties, graphic novels, other superhero movies that I love. Titans, season 1 and 2, is amazing. It's some of the best stuff I've ever seen. There's lots of good DC stuff out there. I still say DC is the quality and Marvel is the quantity. You know? Marvel is the popcorn entertainment, which has been nailing it out of the park, like every movie. It just would have been nice if DC had a vision. And the reason DC doesn't have a vision is because the next movie on the list is Justice League. Oh, Batman v Superman. $330 million North America, $873 million worldwide. Should have been a $1 billion movie. You have Batman and Superman, the 2 most popular superheroes of all time. Both of these characters Zack Snyder didn't understand. He made Batman a killer, killing multiple people, not caring about human life at all. And he was still making Superman mopey, depressed. Not as bad as Superman in Superman Returns, where he was depressed, confused about his sexuality, and a stalker. That was Bryan Singer bringing a weird spin on Superman back in 2006. This was Zack Snyder having a fundamental non-understanding of what people liked about Superman. He's supposed to be inspiring and hopeful, not like, oh, I don't really want to save people. And Batman isn't a vigilante killer like the Vigilante or the Punisher. But Ben Affleck owned it in that movie, and there's enough. Anyway, Justice League. Got distracted. Justice League is next on the list. This movie is a shit show. Okay? $229 million in North America, $657 million worldwide. Most of that is Zack Snyder's fault. Now, yes, there are 2 different directors in this movie. Yes, Justice League should have been split into 2 parts. I still say, in my humble opinion, Justice League Part 1 should have been whatever Zack Snyder was thinking of doing, blah, 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 blah. And then Josh Whedon is brought in to finish the movie, maybe reshoot some scenes. And if he wasn't going to carry on the Snyder vision, which was complicated, stupid, convoluted, depressing, sad, he didn't understand DC heroes. He was like, oh, let's just do this and make it dramatic and keep throwing in characters and people will just buy it. No one wanted that. People weren't happy with the Zack Snyder universe. And it showed with the people who were unhappy with Batman v Superman and translated into Justice League box office. Most of that is Zack Snyder's fault. Yes, Time Warner handled it badly. Yes, they were like, let's make a 2-hour superhero movie when all the best superhero movies of all time are all over 2 hours, 2.5 hours in that running time. And some of the best movies of all time are well over 2 hours or 3-hour movies. Braveheart, The Godfather, Godfather Part 2, Gladiator, Dances with Wolves. Right? Long movies. The Lord of the Rings, all of them. Anyway, Justice League was when people took off the Elton John glasses and were like, oh my god, the DC Cinematic Universe is in trouble. And it almost was a dumpster fire, but Wonder Woman picked it all back up. Justice League is next on my list. Then we get to Man of Steel on my best to worst. A movie that initially that I loved for years and years, but like Batman v Superman, the more you watch Man of Steel now, with critical opinions, the more you realize Zack Snyder got Superman wrong. It was more of a first contact science fiction story, which is fine, but, and there's way too much destruction, and it was really noisy. If Krypton was different, like if Krypton was less Avatar-like, that would have helped the movie. If Russell Crowe, explain Russell Crowe and Jor-El being like, anyway, they could have done without that. The fact that It seemed like Superman, Man of Steel, saved more people as Secret Clark Kent than he ever did as Superman in that movie. There wasn't enough development of him trying to be Superman, learning to use the powers before Zod attacked. Zod's plan was totally stupid about terraforming the Earth when he could have terraformed any other planet in the solar system and made it a new Krypton. And then, there's lots of flaws with Man of Steel, but there's lots of good things too that still make it the best Superman movie of all time. And it's a cool steelbook. And Henry Cavill was amazing. I would love Henry Cavill to be Superman forever. Give credit for Zack Snyder. He got some really good casting choices correct. Most of them, actually. The Martian Manhunter reveal could have been awesome. Who knows if release of Snyder Cut ever happens. I'm not sure. I forget who filmed as Green Lantern. I probably wouldn't have liked that. I wasn't big on Cyborg in the Justice League, and they deleted lots of stuff. But anyway, my point is, to be fair, Zack Snyder got a lot of good casting choices correct, and inspired casting choices for sure. It's just too bad that Zack Snyder, Time Warner, drove Ben Affleck into becoming an alcoholic again, and turned him away from being Batman. When Ben Affleck has a Batcave in his house. He's obviously the world's biggest Batman fan. To take that amazing actor-director and make him not want to play Batman, that's an amazing feat. So, hopefully Ben Affleck is rebounding from that mess, and it's too bad because he's the best Batman we've ever seen. Next on the list is the number 8 movie, Best to Worst. Not really the worst for this prime example, but for what it is. Birds of Prey and the Fabulous Emancipation of the One Harley Quinn. Currently sitting at just under 72.8 million North America box office, 173.9 worldwide. Listen, more people need to see Birds of Prey. It was entertaining, it was fun, it was interesting, it was enjoyable, okay? Yes, I know Zack Snyder and Snyder Tards. DC movies can be fun. I know, it's scary. Oh my god. Man of Steel shouldn't be depressing. Batman v Superman shouldn't be so depressing. Justice, ugh. That's not what dark means. Dark doesn't mean make it dark. Anyway. Go see Birds of Prey is my point of this video. Go see Birds of Prey. If you're a DC fan, if you're a superhero fan, if you're a female pro-woman, female superhero thing, woman, person, human being, go see it. You'll enjoy it. Movie didn't deserve an R. Movie shouldn't have been rated R. There's one character that was horribly miscast and totally awful in that movie. But Birds of Prey was the first movie in 15 years that made me question my rating system because I wanted to rate Birds of Prey 7.5 stars out of 10. I bumped it up to 8. But that was the first movie in a long time that made me rethink how I rate movies because I rate them out of 10 stars, 4 stars, 4.5 stars. The Schmoville, stupid, 2.3, 3.1, 4.7, stupid ratings I'm not a fan of. And if you rate movies out of 5 stars, it's easy to translate into 10 stars. It's almost the same thing, thanks to IMDb. Overall, best to worst, from Aquaman to Birds of Prey. Those are my rankings, best to worst, of the 8 movies in the cinematic universe so far. Looking forward to Wonder Woman 84. Looking forward to Black Adam, Shazam 2, which I can't wait for Shazam 2. Suicide Squad, The Suicide Squad is filming right now. That could be really awesome. There's lots of bright spots right now. The Batman is currently filming, even though Sparkly Vampire is awful cast for Batman until proven otherwise. DC has a lot of good things going for it right now. And all those good things happened when Zack Snyder was removed from this entire process. His vision, his trilogy of what he wanted to do with Justice League, no. It would have, some people might have enjoyed it, and that's cool. But guess what? Most of the people who bought tickets to see Man of Steel, Batman v Superman, and Justice League weren't on board with the Zack Snyder train of thought. And the fact that he got Superman so fundamentally wrong and made Batman a psycho killer for a long time, people had problems with that, plus everything else that he tried to do. So if you're a release Snyder Cut person, which is cool, realize you're in the minority, even though you might be vocal and loud. Most people, and what's the point of seeing this movie now anyway, when all these Easter eggs aren't going to matter, because they're moving far away from that. Thank God for Patty Jenkins. Thank God for James Wan for saving the DC Cinematic Universe with Wonder Woman and Aquaman, respectively. Anyway, best to worst, Episode 1, DC Cinematic Universe. This was my second time recording this video. First video, I had a copy of The Last Jedi in there. That was a horrible mistake. I don't know how it got in there. Anyway, Episode 1, best to worst, DC Cinematic Universe. Thanks for watching. Give me a like, subscribe, make a comment. Cheers. Have a great day. Thanks for watching. Your friend from Canada, Reed. Cheers. Now you get to watch me turn off the video real close.